There you have it, Indie Dog taking South Africa international again.
At some point, those guys that they keep booking are going to get old and they're going to fall out of the scene.
It is such a bitch to sometimes get a band to cooperate with you.
Indie Dog.
You're listening to the Baascast Briefs. Just because it's short doesn't mean it can't be fun.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Baascast. My name is Baas de Beer, and I've got a dog with me. I can't say that with a straight face. I do have a dog with me. His name is Seb. He is from the band Indie Dog. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on.
Dude, it's such a privilege to have you on this Baascast brief here at J Room in Silverton. Shout out J Room. If you want to have a good rehearsal room, that's where you go. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very good, actually. How are you?
Well, I'm surprised because it is like before 11 and you're a musician and you're up and you're looking exceptionally awake.
I've been up since 6.
You guys are not really new to the scene in such a sense, though you are definitely not as established as I believe you should be. Just give us a quick brief. Indie Dog, how long you guys been going, what you're doing, what you sound like to anyone that might not know you yet?
All right. Well, we are a Joburg-based alt-rock band. We've been going 6 years now. And actually yesterday, 5 years ago, we brought out our first album.
Congratulations.
So it's been a while. We've been on the scene, made it through COVID, we kind of feel like 2 years didn't really count, you know. So we've technically been going for 4 years. We were active, we brought out some music then, but yeah, it's been a wild ride. We've done quite a lot of stuff in our 6 years together.
You certainly have, and if I take a look just at how you do your things, that is one of the reasons why I've got you here, is just to give you some kudos, dude. As a young band, you really seem to be taking the business side of the band seriously. I think you guys function as a unit, especially when it comes to marketing, online presence. There's always something cool to see that Indie Dog did.
Thank you.
Is that something that just comes natural, or is it something that you guys have been working on consciously?
I do a lot of that stuff. Obviously my guys help me with pieces of it, but it's definitely something that we're very conscious of in terms of how we run our band. It's definitely it's a business. It's fun and it's great to be on stage, but a band, if you want to make it, you have to treat it like a business, and that's kind of what we do. So, I mean, I've worked for someone maybe twice in my life. The rest of the time I've worked for myself. So I'm very used to being in that groove anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it kind of just comes to us like that.
And I mean, in the end, as much as the saying goes, be your own boss and everyone is your boss because all your clients own you, it still comes down to the fact that working for yourself as a musician, whether it is as a frontman of a band or as a solo musician, it all comes down to you as an individual, your entire presence, your success. No one else is going to do it for you. So I want to stand still for a second. The success of Indie Dog. You've played a couple of very cool festivals. You've played all the Pretoria, Joburg venues. You've been on a tour or 3 as far as I understand.
We've been on many tours.
And talk to me. What's your favorite experience building your scene so far?
Probably the touring, I'll be honest. It's great to play the Joburg and Pretoria scene, and we've got a solid fan base here now, which is nice because it's our home ground, But it's always been really great to tour out into the world, and you just go out and you meet new people. Like last year, we went on basically a month-long tour across 5 provinces. So we did KZN, obviously we went to Dullstroom, we went down to St. Francis and Jeffreys Bay, Cape Town. We played a whole lot of shows, and you stop off in these towns and you play shows with people. You meet a whole lot of really cool people that, because they're maybe not a major center of South Africa, you are a novelty because there's this out of town band coming in. And so you end up having these really great shows and these pockets of fans all around the country, which is really nice. That's probably the thing that I enjoy the most about what we've been doing.
Well, I thoroughly appreciate that you mentioned that, because I've been saying for ages there's so many Pretoria and Joburg based bands that really should stop being so lazy and get their asses out of town, because let's be honest, in Pretoria you are 1 out of 1,000 playing. In Koekenaap you are the act.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we went to Ladysmith last year as part of our tour, and we ended up, it was actually quite a funny thing. We weren't supposed to be there. we, like a few days before we were leaving on tour, I saw on a WhatsApp group this woman saying, hey, we have this like small Easter festival in Ladysmith. Does anybody want to play? And no one was really answering her. So I got a hold of her and I was like, hey, we're leaving and we're driving down on the Thursday. We don't have a show for Friday. We could pull through because we were on our way to Durban. She was like, cool, that's great. So we pulled up and we ended up spending the whole weekend there and playing like 4 sets. And, you know, we left Ladysmith feeling like we were Led Zeppelin or something, because the whole town was like, you know, after the first set and the next day there were more people and they're like, we heard you guys were really good. We're coming for your next show. And it was just like a really cool experience as a, like you say, like a young band who's going through the country, you know, maybe not as established as we would like to be, to get to this, you know, town and have such a great response, you know.
But that is how you establish yourself, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you must have surely had that experience of feeling underappreciated in your hometown, but as you say, you know, you leave feeling like Led Zeppelin when you go to the small places. I remember years ago, my band played in Bethlehem. Now, very interesting when you play to Bethlehem, because firstly, you can't just follow any star to get to Bethlehem.
Yeah.
You have to follow the road and the GPS and all that. But when you get to a town as small as that, you really feel like a little bit of a larger fish in a smaller tank. And I think that's good for the ego.
Yeah.
However, I want to know from you, which festival that you've played has done most for your reputation or your band feels or something?
Probably when we were first starting out, we managed to get into White Mountain Festival, which is run by Pedro down in Durban. And he, I mean, he's got a few festivals that he does, but
It's Pedro Carlo.
Pedro Carlo, yeah.
Splashy.
That's right, yeah. And so he, after he cut ties with Splashy, he started White Mountain. Now he's doing Seaweed. And so he put us on a Friday night at like 9 o'clock. It was like the prime slot. Nice. We were really, really excited. And I don't know, he really did us a solid with that show, because I think we'd been going for about 2 years at the time. And, he put us on this really great slot, and it was a great lineup as well. The next day, Zebra were playing, and like there were some good bands on the lineup. And before we went up, the MC got the crowd to start chanting "Indie Dog," and we were like backstage, completely unknown, you know, in the area. We had no idea that, you know, we had this, and we were like, what is going on, you know? And we went out there totally pumped. We gave it our all. We played our best show that we could. And out of that, so many people throughout our tours, subsequent to that, we've obviously been to Durban many times since then and played other festivals and stuff. And every single tour that we've played, I meet someone who was at that festival and was like, I made sure I came to your show now because I saw you at White Mountain, and, you know, you guys are so good. And so, yeah, that's probably the one that's done the most for us.
That is epic. And I mean, just testament to see, you know, how the actions of one man like Pedro can invest in the success of a band, building a scene. What advice would you give to someone sitting in the similar situation where you guys were 6 years ago?
Is to keep going at it, I guess. There's a lot of really good talent in South Africa, and I've seen a lot of it. And it always... I wouldn't say pisses me off, but it gets to me sometimes how much really great talent we have, and they just don't have the opportunity. You know,
that pisses me off, by the way.
Yeah. So, you know, you could be the best band in the world, but if you don't have the right opportunity, you just don't get in front of the right people and so on. So, you know, for bands, it would be just keep going at it, and eventually you'll meet the right people, or, you know, someone will give you the opportunity that you need to get in with the right people, who will put you in front of a bigger crowd, or
have people chant your band name.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and just have it be, because every big band in the world was a local band at some point, and
I shared that thing on my Facebook like 2 days ago.
Yeah, exactly. We all started out like that. You know,
every big band was a small local band some stage.
And if you look at all of their stories, they were working at it, some for many years, some for not as many years. But at some point, they got an opportunity that, you know, if you look at it financially from an event organizer's perspective, maybe it wasn't a smart idea for that event organizer. Let's take this unknown band and stick them in a prime slot. But obviously they saw something, and that could then, make them more money in the future. Because I know, a lot of event organizers, they are very passionate about, the music scene and da-da-da, but they also are there to make a profit or to at least cut even. It's a business, right? So we understand that too. So they have to book the guys that are going to make the money. But at some point, those guys that they keep booking are going to get old and they're going to fall out of the scene. And the new guys, not having had the opportunities because they never get booked because they're not the big guys, there's going to be this gap where there's no one to book because the small guys stayed small and failed.
Yeah.
And the big guys got old and retired. And now who do you have at your festivals?
Indie Dog.
Hopefully, let's see.
Well, speaking of festivals, I'm wearing a Strab shirt for a specific reason. And actually, it's not an announcement. The announcement bit is cool. Guess who's playing at Strab 2024? Indie Dog.
Indie Dog.
But that's not the biggest part of this announcement that I want to do. I want to announce to the world that I have a fuck ton of respect for your band.
Wow, thank you,
I
man.
want to use this opportunity, firstly, to honor you and then to get behind the business of it for 2 seconds. But the fact that, I work closely with Strab Festival, and when I spoke to management, they were so impressed with you guys because they literally booked you, and less than, 30 minutes later, you already sent in your promotional material, your videos that they requested. I think, how long did they wait? Less than a day?
Yeah, it was definitely within the day. Yeah,
it is amazing. And I have to say, I do the marketing for the festival, and it is such, well, not just that festival, quite a few. It is such a bitch to sometimes get a band to cooperate with you and just give you the freaking marketing material you asked for, or accept a collab share or do something. Is that something that you are very strict on in your band, the marketing side of things?
Yeah. We, I'm very conscious of our image and our marketing and stuff. But when I was 17, I started a marketing business. That's how I kind of got myself going in this
You've
world.
got the advantage of knowing marketing.
Yeah, exactly. So
the importance of deadlines.
Yeah, exactly. Importance of deadlines. And I also just like to be fast at things because I know, and I've had this before, not necessarily through my own action, but being late to pick up on an opportunity and you lose it because of that. So I have a personal rule about it. Like if something comes up, you act on it now. Because, even if you don't lose it or whatever, it's double work anyway. You got to go through what you need again and whatever. But we do things quick and we try and do them right.
Well, the reality is that as much as I like you guys, there's a 50 other that know them. Well, the reality is, as much as I like you guys, there's like 50 other bands that also play nice music, that can also get a crowd going. Who's the one that's going to get picked? The one that responds faster, the one that honors the marketing agreements, the one that has the better laid out tech rider, because I firmly believe it's really easy to get booked. But to get booked again takes skill.
Yes. Yeah.
And you guys seem to be nailing it.
Thank you, man.
So I will say straight up that if you're looking to book a good band that's professional in business, this is why you should book them.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. I really do.
Now, one last thing before we end off this, I just want to know from you, what are we looking forward to, Indie Dog, in the near future?
So obviously we're playing at Strab, which we're really, really excited about. So thank you very much for helping us out with that and, suggesting us. That was out of the blue for me and I really, really appreciate it. So yeah, that's one thing that we're very excited about. We also, our big plan for this year is to do a tour to Europe. So I'm busy planning that right now.
You need a road manager.
I may just do. It's still in the planning stages, and I'm in touch with some agents over there to see what shows we can book. But that's our big thing for this year.
There you have it, Indie Dog taking South Africa international again. Are you going to be the Driekus du Plessis?
Maybe. I mean, last year when we brought out the album, we had radio play in 16 countries and big stations like KCAL Rocks, which is one of the main rock stations in California, Raz 2, which is like the biggest station in Iceland. So we did pretty good with the release and we want to follow it up.
Well, if you are listening to this podcast and you are not from Pretoria and you are not from Johannesburg, or hell, if you're not from South Africa, drop a comment and let's see how far the love for Indie Dog spreads. Seb, thank you so very, very much for your time that you spent, that you woke up early in the morning to do these things. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys at Strab.
Yeah. Cheers, man.
Always.
Thank you for listening to this Baascast, and thank you so much Audio Torch for sponsoring the camera gear.